Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done to educate their consumers, grow their practices, and leave a legacy. We're doing a series of spotlights on remarkable wedding professionals from across the country. And joining me on this segment is Kelly Barrett. She's the founder of the Bridal Above, based out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Kelly, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks so much for having me, Mark.
Kelly, tell us a little bit about your work at the Bridal Above, and specifically, who are the types of folks that you help?
So I actually started this business about 9 years ago. We were getting asked to travel to weddings a lot to do hair and makeup. So we're an on-site traveling hair and makeup company. And we recently rebranded within the last 3 years, and it just has exploded, especially because of COVID. So good and bad. But people really want to get married now since their weddings were held off. And we service the wedding industry, truly, or events. We do have people who have larger events. They get hair and makeup done.
It's very interesting because I do understand as the country's starting to open up a little bit, the pent-up demand for weddings. I'm hearing that they're almost like record-setting numbers of weddings being planned, even from before 2019, 2020. Is that right?
It's insane. And I'm from a time like I predate phones a little bit. So I was a referral based company truly with like very little marketing, and with having like since the rebrand and actual marketing and social media and like a full blown web page, it was insane. Like it completely doubled our intake.
That's really interesting. How do people typically find you? You mentioned online and referrals. How do people typically find you now that you found has exploded because of social media?
So they Google travel. So that's like the number one. So our website guy is actually great. And I multi-function with a salon, AMS Loft Salon. And they also do bridal. So we're the travel portion of it. And I work here full time. So our website's everything like coincides mellifluously. But he does everything. So he will scout what people are searching and be like, this is what was graphed this week, high percentages, like write a blog. So it's definitely been Google has been huge.
Very nice. And since this pandemic and things are starting to be on the rise again, are the inquiries any different? What are people doing differently now than they did before? What kind of requests are you getting?
So we are unaffected by that sort of. So in relation to like a venue, possibly it might be different for them, but you still have, even if it's a 30-person wedding or a 200-person wedding, we still have 8 girls getting hair and makeup done, or 10 girls getting hair and makeup done, and the mother and mother-in-law. So we're truly actually unaffected with our numbers. We haven't seen, the only height we've had is taking more weddings, but we have not taken a hit with less numbers or anything like that.
Have there been any unique challenges that have come up for you, or anything different these days? Or if not, what are the biggest challenges that people have when it comes to booking hair and makeup on their destination weddings?
Us being booked. They're reaching out too late. And it's hard, and you hate saying no, but I mean, we're housing anywhere from 3 to 6 weddings a weekend, and it's difficult. And I feel like they don't understand sometimes. And also camps. People are hosting at camps a lot because of COVID. There's nowhere to do hair and makeup in a camp. So it's like kind of hard.
Very interesting. That's a unique insight. And that is a common misconception, I imagine, because I have heard in the past people saying, oh, I know exactly who I want to use for my entertainer. And I said, well, did you book them? And they're like, no, but I know who I'm going to use. I'm thinking, well, somebody else might be thinking, it just doesn't come to mind, I don't think.
Yeah, you're like, best wishes, hope you get them soon.
they just feel like maybe there's unlimited you out there or something, which it's just like a missight. Like they didn't think of that. So have you seen any like pitfalls happen, like besides like not booking early enough, any mistakes that you see people making when they book hair and makeup in getting a place for you to set up or anything like that? Any big mistakes that you could help people avoid?
I would definitely say that that's one of the issues is people don't think it matters how many people they bring actually. But profitability is an issue. So like, we just don't travel to 2 people. Like if you're a bride, you think you're the only bride. And I understand that. We definitely like try to send out love for all of that, but we only travel for an amount of girls. So sometimes like we do have very specific contracts at this point, but when I first started, sometimes I would show up and they'd be like, oh, 4 people dropped out. And I'd be like, so I'm only here for 3 people. And I might've taken off another day of work building the business to do that. So that's a very common misconception. We do not just travel for one person. We're not like a styling bus that just drives around and stops at people's houses. Like if we're taking off for an event, we're doing a large event.
This is really unique. The first time I'm interviewing someone in this particular topic, so I don't know the business, but it's fascinating to me. So I'm gonna turn to you and ask you, what are the most frequently asked questions that you get from folks that call you and look for your services? What kind of questions do you get?
How far do we travel? How many girls does it take to service, to get the hair and makeup? What kind of events will you travel for? And how do we come with our hair or face the day of, which is clean and dry in all aspects.
Yeah, and how far do you travel to answer some of those questions?
As far as they pay. If we
right
can find staffing and they're willing to pay a mileage, I do a lot in the Jersey Shore. I've gone to Philly a lot, and basically because Philadelphia is so close to us that our pricing is relevant to our town. So my pricing relevant to Philadelphia is very different. So like I'm going to Brooklyn December 18th. So there's like a lot of different things that we'll travel to. But I mean, I've gone to Punta Cana. I just went to Oklahoma a couple years ago. So I mean, I'll go if I can. But I will say my life circumstance, I would like my younger freelancers to start doing that. I have kids now. I don't want to be flying all over. I like to stay more local and send out the younger kids to like the Jersey Shore.
Lots of logistics. I get that. So, Kelly,
Yeah.
so you started your business 9 years ago, you mentioned.
Yes.
What inspired you to start your business? How'd you get started?
I honestly just needed to work. I needed, money and to support myself. So I did whatever I could. And I was getting phone calls. I worked at a salon and I was getting phone calls and I was like, can I travel to this wedding? And she said, yeah.
That's really interesting. Years ago, I used to DJ in the nightclubs for Walter Payton, the late great Walter Payton's clubs here in Chicagoland. And yeah, people would call for bar and bat mitzvahs. And I'm like, what's that? So then I became Jewish by profession because I specialized in bar and bat mitzvahs. So yeah, fascinating. Very, very similar, circumstance. So Kelly, for folks listening and that would like to contact you and get more information about hair and makeup for their weddings, and they're in your service area, how can they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Honestly, the best way is to go through our website. I do have a coordinator who's like fantastic. Her name is Morgan, and she is actually the daughter of the woman whose salon I work for. She's fantastic. I've been with her my entire hair career. And then she is great. She takes care of everything in the emails, actually. So she was the one who yesterday was like, there's a guy, Mark Imperial. You need to look at that email immediately. So honestly, anything that comes through the email has 2 eyes looking at it, 2 sets of eyes. So
terrific. And that website, can you give out that website?
Yep. That's the email. I'm sorry. It's thebridalabove.com.
Thebridalabove.com. Terrific.
Yep.
Kelly, I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients, and have fun as the country opens back up.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That was Kelly Barrett, founder of The Bridal Above, and this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done, educate their consumers, grow their businesses, and leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.